Namaste, everyone. So my name is Deepika. For those of you who haven't come before, I'm going to work today on the Hathinas, which is a sequence from our Gitananda tradition. It's one of the old, authentic yoga living traditions that we have, still going. And it's a specific sequence that works on opening our lungs up. So in order for us to perform pranayama properly, we need to open our lungs up first. I see this very much as the difference between what is called breath work and pranayama. So to access the prana, we should be breathing more than 60% capacity of our lung capacity. And in our modern day life, we don't tend to breathe well anyway. We've lost the ability, it seems, to breathe properly. Does that sound okay? So these techniques are specific to the Gitananda tradition. You might be familiar with some of the asanas, the postures, but they're in a specific sequence. And while we go through the sequence, we'll be focusing into different sections of our lungs. The vibhaga, the sectional breathing. So I'm going to take you through the practice, and then I'm going to try and leave a bit of time today if there's any questions about the practice. But echo, yeah, there's a bit of an echo. Sound person. There's a bit of echo. Yeah, I think they're coming now. Yeah. Okay. So, if it is a pranayama class, but there will be some physical activity. We're not just going to be sitting here the whole time, huffing and puffing, as I call it. So the Gitananda tradition is very rich in the pranayama part. No? Louder? That needs to be louder. Hello? Yeah, too loud? So the Gitananda tradition, we have a lot of pranayamas. It's one of the most important part of our tradition. Our foundation of the yama niyama is very, very strong. And then pranayama, obviously in the Ashtanga yoga you have asana next, but pranayama is very, very strong in our tradition. And you may have already be familiar with the 8 classical pranayamas from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. In the Gitananda tradition we have 120 pranayamas. So that's how much pranayama we have, and it's huge, it's enormous. So we're just going to touch kind of the starting point really today for practicing pranayama properly. So as I said, just to repeat, we need to open the lungs up first in order to be able to access the prana and get it through the rest of our nadi system. Okay, so let's get on with the practice, and then you can ask any questions that come up later. So let's just sit for a few moments, sit comfortably, and we're going to draw the mind in. We're going to lift and lengthen up through the spine, consciously lengthening up through the neck, and then just relax your shoulders, arms, gently lift and open across the chest. Now bring the mind into your lungs. Try to be aware of the different sections and parts of the lungs. In yoga, we talk about the lower lobes of the lungs, the intercostal middle section of the lungs, and the clavicular upper lobes of the lungs. These 3 main sections. Then we further divide the lungs into the front, the side, and the back sections of the lungs. So there's actually 9 on each lung, 9 in the right, 9 in the left, which is interestingly close to our modern medical system or Western medicine where we have 10 bronchial sections of the lungs in each side. So it's interesting that the sages of ancient India already came up with 9 sections in each lung. So now we're going to consciously bring the mind to the breath. So just breathe out to start. Sukha rhythm, a 6 count in, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, out, in, out. Keep going. In, lower, mid, upper lobes of the lungs. Exhale in the same order, lower, then mid, and then upper. Keep going on your own and try to really deepen the awareness of your own breath. Try to feel and visualize how, as the diaphragm is drawn down on your in-breath, the air fills into the lower lobes, then the mid, then the upper. Then on your exhale, the diaphragm recoils up, pushing the air out from the lower, the mid, and then the upper lobes. Try to have that sense, that awareness of the breath going into the front, side, and then the back of the lungs on every inhale. And on every exhale, the breath leaves the back, then the side, and then the front. And gently bring the palms to the heart, Namaskar Mudra. And chant the Ganesh and Guru Gayatri. Tad Ganeshaya Vitmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahe Tanno Dantahi Prachodayate Om Tat Paramparyaya Vitmahe Jnana Lingeshwaraya Dhimahe Tanno Guru Prachodayate Om Yoga Maharishi Dr. Swami Gitananda Giri Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Just rub your palms, just get some heat and energy in the hands. And let's cup the eyes and just look into your palms. And again with the palms. Cup your eyes and then look up, down, left, right, and blink the eyes. And gently sweep over your head, neck, squeeze down each shoulder, arm, fingertips, and shake. Okay, so we're going to do some jatis, as we call them, loosening up, warming up exercises before we go into our postures for opening the lungs. So bounce the knees, wiggle your toes. I forgot to introduce Anandi. She's another senior teacher from the Gitananda tradition. And she's going to be wandering around, checking you all out. You're being watched. You're always being watched. And flex one foot forward, one back. Breathe deep. If I don't hear breathing, I'm going to be saying that all the time. Okay, let's lift one knee and the other. Just alternate. Let's bring our knees out to the sides, to the front. And let's catch the right leg now and flex your foot up and down. Breathe deep and roll into your ankle. Where the mind goes, the prana flows. This comes from our scriptures. When the mind goes, the prana flows into the knee. Bring the mind into your body parts, nobody else's. And let's catch your foot and knee, rock gently side to side. Keep breathing deep. Let's catch our right foot, right hand, and gently swing the leg back and forth. Just watch your neighbours. And we're just going to hold the leg open, head to the left, take a deep breath. And then we cross the leg over, and we'll switch hands, bring the right hand behind you, look over your right shoulder. And take a breath here. And release. Bounce. Catch your left leg. Flex your foot up and down. Roll into the ankle. I don't hear any breathing. And then into the knee. Let's catch the foot and knee, gently rock side to side. Let's catch the foot, left hand, left foot, extend the leg and gently swing back and forth. Let's hold the leg open, head to the right, deep breath here. And release. And bounce. Let's bounce the legs open and close just to the edge of the mat and back. And you're going to have the heels to the edge of the mat and you breathe in, roll the toes into center. Breathe out, roll the toes out. Just do a few rounds. Do quite a lot of sitting toward the end of the class, so it's good to work on this joint mobility. Let's circle here. Let's not lose sight of the fact that asana practice is so that we can sit comfortably for long periods of time. The goal is not asanas really, not in our tradition anyway. Let's bounce back and forth. Let's open the legs out a bit wider this time. And we're just going to tap inside the thighs. We'll go down towards your ankles and then up the outside. Just do 3 rounds. And then we'll go down the top of the legs. Great. And let's just do a gentle semicircle, just lengthening forward from one leg to the other. Keep breathing deep. Lovely. Now bring your hands in front and you're going to breathe in, lift up through the spine. Breathe out, elbows toward the mat. And again, breathe in, lift up. Out, elbows to the mat. And then in as you lift. Out. Try and get the elbows. And let's hold here. Just take a deep breath. And gently release, relax, bounce your legs back together. Let's bring our feet together. Baddha Kona Kriya. Bounce your knees. Just feel into your pelvis. And let's draw the knees toward the mat. Take a deep breath here. Release. Let's cross the legs or sit comfortably. We'll just do a few circles. Feel into your waist, pelvis, other way. Let's sit up. Now breathe in, open your chest and lift the chin. As you breathe out, arch your spine, chin down, draw back your abdomen. Again, breathe in, open up. Let's whoosh out through the mouth. Again, in, open. Pull back the abdomen. One more, in. Let's just hold out if you can, if it's comfortable. Keep drawing the abdomen back and slightly up. And just release, take a breath. Let's start to roll our shoulders now. Bring the mind into the shoulder joints, sockets, one way and the other. Keep breathing deep. And then into the elbows, both ways. Into the wrists. Circle your wrists up and down now with the hands, side to side. Open the palms and tap the thumb into the center of your palms. And then each finger one by one, just tapping the fingertip into the palm. And just check, are you breathing deep? All the way to the little finger, and let's open and close the fists now. Shake. Going to do a clean and a cleanse of our space now. This energetic space. In and around the body, let's intentionally clean, cleanse, purify, saucha. Deep breath in, gather up, whoosh it out. Again, everything in threes. 3 is a number for manifestation. So manifest clarity. Deep breath in. Last chance, let's get out any clutter, rubbish, tiredness, tension, toxins. Deep breath in. Release. And now drop the chin. Let's start to roll the head to the right side. Ease out the neck. Breathe out stiffness, tension. 3 rounds to the right. Use the out breath to help release tensions. Always an opportunity to let go every out breath. And we change direction. 3 rounds to the left when you're ready. And then come back to center. Just tap the fingertips. We're just going to release any tension you might be holding in your face. Face to the world. Tap your forehead. Release tension you might be holding here. Hopefully, after being here for 3 days, shouldn't be any tension left by now. Come to the temples. Again, breathe out stiffness, tension. Let it go. Around the eyes now, gently under and along the eyebrows, circling. Breathe. Cheeks. Tap the cheeks. Around the mouth. Now up and down the jaw. Let your jaw be loose, relaxed. Top of the jaw you might find tension. Just tap and breathe it out. Let it go with the out breath. Ears, let's just start firmly tugging around the ears. The top of the head. Wake up your brain. Back the head, neck, top of the shoulders. And then tap the chest, take a deep breath. Abdominal area. Lower back. Down your legs. Back up the other side of your legs. Down one arm. Palms. Back up. Activating body tapping through both arms. And just do a bit of freestyle, just wherever you need a bit of awakening. Just give a tap. And then we're going to rub the palms together. And then just sweep your face, your head, down the body. Okay. And then slowly, I'm going to come up to all fours. Just do a little bit of our Chatuspada Kriya, so crawling around, consciously crawling around your mat. Breathing deep. Crawl forwards, backwards, sideways. I like to say crawl like nobody's watching. And most of the time nobody is watching. Because everyone is just worried about our own self. So never worry about other people. And we're going to come back. Let's have a sip of water. It's important we stay hydrated because we are mostly tend to be dehydrated anyway. But we are very much a pro-hydration tradition. We sip water throughout the practice. Okay, lovely. So I'm going to start our sequence now for opening up the different sections of the lungs. So we're going to start off with Mukha Bhastrika, which is the cleansing breath. So we always start just to try and empty out any stale air from the lungs. So for this practice, we breathe in through the nose, try to fill the lungs, and then we blast the breath out through the mouth, and we bring the head to the mat. So I'll demonstrate one round, and we're not breathing in at all as you bring the head down, okay? So I'm going to breathe in here. Make the mouth into a Kaki Mudra, crow's beak. And then when you need to breathe in, lift up. Lift with the chin first and then the chest, okay? So let's have a go, 3 rounds together. When you're ready, nice deep breath in. Again, breathe in, lift up. We're pumping the abdomen here. And one more. Blasting out, come forward. Keep pulling back the abdomen. Lovely. And when the head is there, keep there. Dharmakasana. Catch your feet. Just hold here for a couple of breaths. And then slowly lift up. I'm just going to balance with a gentle back bend. Just bring the hands behind you. Lift up with the chest, head back. Take a nice deep breath here. And release. Lovely. So I'm just pre-warning you, if you've not been to this class yet, we're going to be spending quite a lot of time in the Vajrasana. So the Thunderbolt posture, is the best posture for pranayama because it helps us keep the spine naturally lengthened up. But if we sit cross-legged, there can be a tendency to slightly slouch or kind of lose that, as the practice is quite long, can be quite long. So if it's really not comfortable for you, when we do come to our pranayama, you can sit cross-legged, but all I will say is just really be conscious of keeping the spine lengthened up. Okay, so our first posture for opening up the lungs is the Ustraasanas, that opens up the lower lobes of the lungs. But first, we're going to try and anchor our awareness into the lower lobes. So we're going to use a mudra called Sparsha Mudra, which is just the flat palms, okay? We're going to bring your palm to the front lower lobes of your lungs. The last finger is more or less touching the last rib of the lower lobes of your lungs. Keep the fingers together and the fingertips are almost touching. Breathe out here. Now deep breath in. No, sit down, I'm just checking you. Breathe out. I'm just going to say, look at Ananda if you can't see me. Yeah, in. Out. Lovely. Keep the mind behind your palms. In. Out. Great. Now slide the palms to the side of the lower lobes. Again, really draw your awareness deeply behind your palms. Breathe out. And in. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. In. Out. Now bring the palms to the back of the lower lobes. And again, in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Great. Release. Have a little shake. So we're going to practice the Ustra camel posture now. So this really helps direct and stretch and open up the lower lobes of our lungs. So I will demonstrate today. I'm going to make the practice a bit shorter so we can lengthen our pranayama time. So I'm going to give you 3 variations you can choose from, and we're just going to do one of them. You choose which one you want to do. So either variation number 1 is breathe in, lift up, bend back. At the peak of the back bend, the air is still pushing down here, and you breathe out, release, back down. That's the first variation. Second variation is fingertips to the toes. We breathe in, lift up, and breathe out, release. And our third variation, which I would prefer if you can manage, is our full Ustrasana, where we drop back. And here we're going to use our Nasarga Mukha Bhastrika blasting breath. So I'll just demonstrate. So there, you're really pumping the lower lobes of the lungs, okay? So it's in through the nose and then... Okay, so have a go. If you want to do the previous variations, that's fine. If you need to use the other foot variation for the Ustra, tucking under the toes, that's fine. So when you're ready, lift up and drop back. And now let's perform our Mukha Bhastrika. In through the nose, blast out through the mouth. Head back. Focus into lower lobes, pumping, release. 6 rounds max. Sit back down. If you feel dizzy, which can be quite common, please bring the head forward and just relax for a few breaths there. That's absolutely fine. Just take a breath. We're going to repeat this 3 times. Let's practice another round. So when you're ready, let's lift up. Release after 6 rounds. And sit back on the heels and take a breath. Lovely. And then one more round. When you're ready, lift up. Release. Just come back. You may find you start coughing and whatever, that's also can be quite normal. So you're clearing and cleansing out. Now everyone, we're going to bring the head down anyway here, just to release your spine. Head to the mat and take a few breaths. You can catch the feet, creating a nice circuit of energy, Dharmakasana, the devotional pose. And gently you're going to lift up and have a sip of water. Prana flows much better on a hydrated body. Let's stretch out the legs, give them a little bounce and a shake. Okay, so now we're going to go up to our mid section of the lungs. So here, again, we're going to draw the awareness into the midsection first, because the awareness is key. Bringing the mind to the different parts of the body. So palms along the midsection, so across the heart and the midsection of your lungs. Now breathe out to start. Feel behind your palms. Feel that movement in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. In. Out. Side of the mid lobes. Move the palms to the sides and again in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Keep an eye on your posture, your hand posture. Make sure it's level with the heart. Out. And one more. In. Out. And move to the back of the middle lobes. A bit of a stretch here. Just try to feel that movement behind the palms or even the fingers. Breathe out and in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And release. Might want to shake the hands. Release your wrists. Great. So again, I'm going to give you 3 options for the posture we use to open, force the air into the midsection of the lungs. So our Matsyasana postures, which is the fish. First variation, you can choose, legs outstretched. We drop the elbows back and we lift up with the chest and we consciously breathe into mid-chest for 3 breaths. Second variation, almost the same, but we bring the head onto the mat and hands on the pelvis. Or the third variation, if you can do the third, it's always the better option. We're going to come into the Padmasana, lotus, or Ardha Padma is okay, or just Sukha, cross-legged. Drop back, head on the mat, catch the feet, and we breathe in consciously into mid-chest, lifting the mid-chest. Okay, so choose your variation, come into your preferred variation of the Matsyasana. And we're going to take 3 deep conscious breaths together here. So drop back into your fish. Breathe out to start. Focus in the mid-chest. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. And then release. Release to the mat now. Just lie back, stretch out the legs and roll the head now gently side to side. So it's very important just to release the neck, making sure we're not risking holding tension in the body. Just breathe and release consciously the neck. And then gently you can come back up, sit up, bounce the legs, and have another sip of water if you like. And I've done my hair clip.
Behind your curtain.
Where is it?
Behind you.
Alright, it's behind you. No, oh yes it is. Oh no it isn't. Okay.
You put your hand down.
I was like, we should always keep our hair tied back in pranayama, by the way. It's one of our rules. Okay, so now we're going to come up to the midsection of the lungs. So again, we're going to use our Sparsha Mudra. And we're going to bring the palms to the upper, so it's kind of behind the collarbone area. And try to bring the mind into this part, front upper lobes. Breathe out. Feel behind your palms. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. And for the side upper lobes, it's kind of behind your armpits, but we don't want to put the hands in the armpits. Instead, here, just bring the hands to the hips and try to feel with your mind that space behind your armpits. Breathe out. And breathe in, out, in, out, in, out. Lovely. Now the back of the upper lobes, bring your Sparsha Mudra onto the back, over the kind of shoulder blade area, and try to really feel the movement behind your palms. Breathe out. Breathe in. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. In. Out. Lovely. Release. A little shake. So the asana or kriya I'm going to use today for this, we're actually here with this one, we're going to empty out the stale residual air that gets caught or trapped into the upper lobes of the lungs. As our breath is automatic, but we only actually breathe into the lower and midsection naturally. We need to use the conscious awareness to reach up into the upper lobes. Consequently, we get stale, old air trapped into the upper lobes. So this posture is to help empty out that. So I'll just demonstrate one round for those of you who don't know it. We're going to breathe in here. It's called Mahamudra. I'm going to breathe out, bring the head to the mat. And then when I've fully exhaled, I don't breathe in. I catch the hands and release and lift up. So that sound was the trapped air coming out. I didn't breathe in at all. I'm not breathing in until I lift the head and sit up. So that's all on the exhale, okay? So let's have a go together. So Vajrasana, take a nice deep breath in here. Breathe out, head to the mat. Now clasp the hands behind the back and lift up with the arms and pump. Keep the exhale, don't breathe in. And when you need to breathe in, you're going to release the arms and lift the chin and then the chest. Come up. Great. We repeat 2 more rounds. So as you breathe out, you come forward, lift the arms. And as you breathe in, you lift up. Lovely. And 1 more round, whenever you're ready. 2 more. Make sure you do 3. I've lost count. Can't count to 3 some days. Whenever you've completed 3 rounds, you can have some more water and relax a moment. Okay, great. So next we're going to practice 3 shasha, which means rabbit postures. So these postures help direct the air into the different sections of the lungs. So the first one, we're going back to the lower lobes now. We're going to bring the elbows to the knees, palms down, lift up with the chin. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths here, focusing the mind into the lower lobes of the lungs. So come into your Shasha-asana. Okay, so elbows to the knees, lift up with the chin, breathe out. Now focus into the lower lobes. Breathe in. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. In. Out. Just drop the head a moment, relax the neck. Then straighten the arms and bring the wrists to the knees. For our Purana Shasha, this posture focuses into the midsection of the lungs. So breathe out, focus into that intercostal region. Deep breath in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, out, in, out. Let's sit up on the heels. The next one for the upper lobes of the lungs. I'll just demonstrate this one. So I'm going to breathe in here. I breathe out, head to the mat. And then, as I breathe in, I roll up on the head. Breathing into the upper lobes. Breathe out, release back to the heels. And breathe in, lift. So as you rolled up on top of the head, the shoulders drop down slightly and there's a bit more space there in the upper lobes of the lungs. So let's have a go at that together. So breathe out to start. Breathe in, lift up. Breathe out, head to the mat. Now breathe in, roll up on the head. Breathe into those upper lobes. Breathe out, roll back. Breathe in, lift. Repeat 2 more rounds. Breathe out, head to the mat. Lovely. Breathe in as you roll up on your head. Feel the upper lobes. Breathing out, roll back. Breathe in, lift. Lovely. 1 more round. Breathe out, head to the mat. Breathe in as you roll up on your head. Breathing out as you roll back. And breathe in, lift. And just relax, take a breath. Feel inside. And you might want another sip of water. It's actually quite thirsty work. Breathing is thirsty work. Hopefully you'll get my dry sense of humour. Okay, let's stretch out the legs, have a little bounce and a shake. So complete breathing now. We're going to do all 3 postures for this one. So now we're trying to connect the lower, mid and upper lobes of the lungs so that we perform our Mahat Yoga Pranayama. Mahat, the great. Yoga, yogic breath, pranayama. So, actually, first of all, we're going to use our Sparsha Mudra again. Now just bring the left hand onto the lower lobes of your lungs, and then the right hand can just be covering a bit of the mid-section and the upper lobes. And try to feel now the flow of the breath as it moves through all 3 parts, lower, mid, upper. And we exhale the same order. Out from the lower, then mid, then upper. So breathe out to start. Breathe in. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. In, out. Hopefully, just release the hands, take a breath. So, here we're going to perform our Sharabha to start, which is from all 4s, Chatuspada. And we're going to be lifting the legs alternately. So we breathe in and we lift the right leg up and the head. And then we breathe out, release, and then we'll do the left side. Okay, so come to your Chatuspada, 4-footed. Breathe out to start. Stimulating the right lung. Breathe in, right leg, lift the head. And breathe out, release, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left leg now. In, lift the head. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, right leg. Out. Left, in. Out. Right, in. Out. And left, in. Out. Let's take a breath here. Now next is our Chiri Kriya, almost the same as we just did, but we bring the knee and forehead together or toward each other on our exhale. We'll do 3 on the right and then 3 on the left. Breathe out to start. Right leg. Breathe in, lift the head. Breathe out, knee to forehead. Really helps exhale, empty the lungs. Again, in, lift. Out. Knee to forehead. In. Out. Just release that leg, take a breath. And left leg. Breathe in, lift your left leg. Lift the head. Breathe out, knee to forehead. In. Out. In. And out. And release. Let's just drop the elbows a moment and relax your wrists if you need to. Give your hands a little shake. And then we come back up to all fours. So our final movement is our Vyagraha Pranayama, tiger breathing. So breathe out to start. Now breathe in as you dip your spine, lift the head and fill the lungs. Out as you arch up, chin down. Draw back your abdomen and push through the arms. Keep going in. Dip your spine, filling the lower, mid, upper lobes. Breathe out, arch up, empty. Lower, mid, upper lobes. Breathe in, filling the front, side, the back of the lungs. Breathe out, empty. The back, the side, and the front. 3 more. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Let's push back to our Shashanka, back to the heels, relax the forehead on the mat. Sorry, I didn't want that. Why I did that. Just relax in your Shashanka. Nice deep breaths. Nice and gently can lift up. Great. So now we've worked on opening up the lungs, we can start work on our pranayama. So in normal life, we would actually work on these hatina, lung opening practices for, a while, a few months, depending on your own personal situation. So like I personally had very severe asthma, for those of you who haven't already heard the story. Growing up, when I was in and out of hospital, I was on life support, so I had severe breathing difficulties. And then when we did our training at the ashram, we probably did these practices every day for about 2 months. And I tripled my lung capacity, and I'll talk a bit more later about how we measure our lungs if you're interested. But these practices were so powerful that it made a huge impact and transformation on my life. So I'm always quite passionate to share these practices. But just to impress upon you that it's very important we open up the lungs first, and once you've got to a certain level, a certain breath capacity, then you can just kind of practice it maybe once a week to kind of maintain that level of lung capacity. Okay, so what we're going to do now is our sectional breathing again, but with our hasta mudras, hand mudras. So we're going to sit in our Vajrasana, unless you just can't cope with that anymore, that's okay. Come to cross-legged or whatever's comfortable. But just to repeat, stay conscious of lifting up through your spine. So in the lower lobes of the lungs, we use our chin mudra, which is the thumb and the first finger together making a circle, and the other 3 fingers are extended together and straight. Chin mudra. Okay, and then we bring them on the top of the thighs. Yep, keep the fingers together. So face down on the top of the thighs, and they're kind of facing forward, okay? They're not out to the side or in, they're forward at the middle. Yep. Okay, now focus the mind into the lower lobes of your lungs. We're just going to take 3 deep breaths here. Breathe out. Breathe in. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. In. Out. Just take a breath. Keep your mudra. Hold your mudra. I'm going to add the nada, the sound now for the lower lobes of the lungs, where we breathe in on a count of 6, and we're going to exhale the sound ah for a count of 18. So we try to extend the exhale 3 times of the inhale. Let's try together. Breathe out to start. Deep breath in. 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 Right, take a breath, relax. Release your mudra. Just observe the lower lobes of your lungs for a moment. And then you might want to release release your ankles. You can come forward, give them a little shake. You have to do quite a lot of sitting in one position, so I'm quite used to this now, but you might need a bit of loosening up every now and again, that's fine. Okay, now we're going to come up to our mid lobes again. So the mudra for the midsection is Chinmaya mudra. So the mudra we just did, but we roll the 3 fingers into the palm. Chinmaya mudra. Yep, roll the fingers in, and again on top of the thighs, same position, facing forward. And then let's focus the mind into your mid lungs. We'll take 3 breaths to start. Breathe out. Breathe in. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. In. Out. Just take a breath now. Keep your mudra, holding your mudra. Going to use our nada for the midsection, which is the sound oo. So again, we'll breathe in on a 6 and exhale oo for 3 times, 18. Breathe out to start. Deep breath in. 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 Just release your mudra and take a breath. And observe inside. And again, if you want to release the ankles, take a moment, let's have a sip of water. And then we'll come back to our Vajrasana, favourite posture, or cross-legged. So for the upper lobes of the lungs, we use our Adi Mudra. So Adi Mudra is thumb inside the palms, fingers around, and then back on top of your thighs. Adi Mudra, quite close to the hips, pelvis. Okay, let's focus the mind, most importantly, into the upper lobes. Breathe out. In. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In. Out. in, out. Just take a breath, but to keep holding your mudra. So the sound, nada, for the upper lobes is the sound like a humming. We'll do 3 rounds, in for 6 and for 18. Breathe out to start. Deep breath in. 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 And release your mudra and just take a breath. And then our Mahat Yoga Pranayama, complete breathing. So breathing equally now into all 3 sections, the lower, mid and upper. So here we use our Brahma Mudra. So just as we did before, thumb inside, fingers around, but we unite, bring together the Brahma Mudra, or bring together our Adi Mudras like this at the navel belly button region. So the knuckles are touching if you can, if possible. Yeah, that's great. Again, we're going to bring the mind equally into all parts of the lungs. We'll just take 3 breaths. So we'll breathe in 1, 2 lower lobes, 3, 4 mid, 5, 6 upper lobes, and then we exhale again 1, 2 lower, 3, 4 mid, 5, 6 upper. Breathe out to start. In, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in, out, in, out. Just take a breath and hold your mudra. So next with the nada is bringing all the 3 sounds together. So again we would breathe in on a 6 equally into all 3 parts. Then we exhale ah for 6, oo for a 6, and then for a 6. Creating the pranava aum, om. Breathe out to start. Deep breath in. 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 Just relax your mudra, take a breath. And then let's release the legs, give the shake and a wiggle. Have some water. So we're going to work a bit more on the Pranayama. I thought it would be nice on the last day to maybe do quite a few more rounds. So in our tradition, yantra is the science of number, name and form. So the number of times we repeat a practice has significance. So 3 is our number for manifestation, manifesting something, and 9 is a number for completion. So if you practice something 9 times, it's a complete practice. Then we start, keep doubling from there. So then we go to 18 rounds and then 27 rounds. So maybe we can try, let's do 18 rounds, shall we, together? Let's see how that feels. Okay, so come into your comfortable sitting position. Again, I will always say Vajrasana is the preferred option, but whatever is good for you. And you can hold the Brahma Mudra if you like, but you can also just hold our Yoga Mudra, just clasp the hands together. Right thumb should be dominant on top. And we're going to breathe equally into all 3 sections. Just to recap, lower, 1, 2, mid, 3, 4, upper, 5, 6. And then we exhale, 6, the sound of R, the next 6, the sound of U, and then the the final 6. Let's do 18 rounds together. Breathe out to start. In. Just relax and take a breath. Just to feel, observe the space and vibration in the lungs. And try to keep that energy, that feeling. We're going to gently lie down on your mats. I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind just to organise your mat head to north, that way, feet to south, that way, and then lie down so that we're in line with the polar energies of the earth. And these things are quite important in these energetic traditions. Head to north, feet to south. I feel like I'm on a plane. The exit is that way. And that way. head, feet. So lie down in the Shavasana. So Shavasana, again, the Shavasana, if you can, you try to have the heels together, toes flopped out to the side, unless that's really not comfortable for you. You can open the legs, which becomes the Shanti Asana. Arms alongside the body, palms facing up, body in a nice straight line. And let's just settle, let the practices absorb into the body, to the mind. Get yourself comfortable. We're going to practice Pranayama from here, Savitri Pranayama. The Pranayama specifically works on the emotional level and the nervous system. We're going to breathe in on a count of 6. We're going to hold the breath in, retain the breath for a count of 3. We breathe out on a 6, and then we hold out for a 3. 6, 3, 6, 3. I'll guide a few rounds, and then you continue as long as you want. If you just want to let go, that's also fine. Breathe out to start. Breathe in. Hold, 2, 3. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. In. Hold. Out. Hold. In. Hold. Out. Hold. And keep going. In for 6. Hold for a 3. Out for a 6. And hold out for a 3. Activating our parasympathetic. Rest. Restore. Heal. Just keep going as long as you consciously can, or if you feel to let go any practice, that's also fine. Very gently start to bring your mind back. Take a few deep breaths. Start to wiggle the fingers, the toes, roll the head. And start to stretch out through the legs and the arms. You can draw the knees up to the chest and start to gently rock side to side. And then just flop over onto the left side and relax there. Take a few deep breaths. Normally like to spend a long time in our Shavasana. It's not the ideal environment for that. So slowly now make your way up into a comfortable sitting position. Just going to chant a mantra to close off the practice. Loka samasta sukhinu bhavantu sarve janaha sukhinu bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Go and rub the palms. Just cup the eyes and just blink into the palms and then gently move the hands away. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. You've been great students. I just want to briefly tell you a little bit about the tradition. So it's a Gitananda yoga tradition. So our guru is Yoga Maharishi Dr. Swami Gitananda Giri. Founded the ashram, Ananda Ashram in Tamil Nadu. His teacher was Swami Kanakananda, who, if anyone's read that book, Autobiography of a Yogi, he's mentioned in there Ram Gopal Singh. And as I said before, pranayama is one of the key elements. The practice we've just done, the pranava aum, Swami Gitananda would teach before every single class, no matter what the subject. We'd always practice pranava om and then, asana or mantra or satsang, whatever the practice. So it's a very, very key, important practice, this pranava om. It's also one of the only actual practices mentioned in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali that we should do. And it brings about, as Patanjali says, clarity of the mind. So I can see you all have very clear minds now. It works. And it's very nice to repeat many, many times. In the ashram, in our training, we would do every Sunday evening, we would do this pranava om chanting and build up to 108 rounds, which is really a beautiful practice. So, pranayama course. I'm doing a pranayama teacher training. Here's my advertising reminder. So if anyone's interested in learning more about pranayama from this tradition, as I said, it's very deep. It's the one thing I don't have written on my board here, pranayama, which just like... So, I'm running a 2-year teacher training with my teacher from India, Dr. Ananda. So I'm very blessed to have him running the course with me. It's part online and part intensive residentials, either in India at the ashram there or at the ashram, my ashram in West Wales. That would be great. Or I'm also just doing odd little pranayama courses as well. So if anyone's interested, please take a screenshot of the website. I'm also obviously in the, brochure thing. So thank you so much.
Thank you.